All right, part two of factoring and solving. This one, again, when you're factoring quadratics, you want to look at that last symbol. This time it is a minus 27. So when we multiply, in order to get a negative number, that means our signs have to be different. I need one plus and one minus. So I know I'm going to have x plus something and x minus something. The second symbol that we looked at before is now going to be where the biggest number has to be. Because the signs are different, we subtract and keep the sign of the biggest number. Because this is a plus, that means whatever biggest number we find for our factor has to go with that plus sign. Let's think about it. 1 times 27 gives us 27, but remember we're subtracting, so that gives us 26, not 6. I have 3 times 9, and 9 minus 3 does give me 6. So we found our combination there. And remember, our biggest number 9 needs to go with the plus sign, which leaves the 3 with the minus sign. And set it equal to 0 so that we can solve. So I have x plus 9 is equal to 0, and x minus 3 is equal to 0. And solve each one of them. The opposite of plus 9 is to subtract 9 from both sides. And I get x is equal to negative 9. And the opposite of minus 3 is to add 3 to both sides. And I get x is equal to 3. So that's the two solutions to that quadratic. How about the next one? Again, we look at this last symbol and it says that it's negative. So that means that we have to have two different signs. So I'm going to have a plus something and a minus something. And in order to get to our first symbol, we subtract and keep the sign of the biggest number. So if the biggest number has to be minus, because our 3 is a minus. And we think about the factors of 40. 1 times 40 gives me 40. If I subtract, I get 39, not 3. 2 times 20 gets me to 40. And 20 minus 2 gives me 18, not 3. 4 times 10 gets me to 40. But 10 minus 4 gets me to 6, not 3. And 5 times 8 gets me to 40. And 8 minus 5 is the 3. So finally, we found that factor. So again, our biggest number needs to go with the minus. 8 is bigger than 5, so the 8 will go with the minus, and it leaves the 5 with the plus sign. Now that we have it factored, we can set it equal to 0 and solve. So a plus 5 is equal to 0, or a minus 8 is equal to 0. The opposite of adding 5 is to subtract 5 from both sides. And I get a is equal to negative 5. And the opposite of subtracting 8 is to add 8 to both sides. And I get a is equal to 8. So our two solutions to this quadratic would be negative 5 or 8. So write this last one down and try to solve it. All right, so the last one, again, we look at our last symbol as a minus, so that means that our signs have to be different. So it is k plus something and k minus something. And the second symbol tells us where our biggest number has to be, because we subtract and we keep the sign of the biggest number. So whatever our largest number is, it needs to go with that minus sign. So we'll just think of a couple of them. If I do 1 times 56, that does give me 56, but if I subtract, I get 55. 2 times, let's see, 28 will get me to 56, but if I subtract, I get to 26. Jump around, how about 7 times 8 is 56, and when I subtract, I get the 1. Yay! So again, the largest number 8 would go with the minus sign, which would leave the 7 that needs to get tucked in there with a plus sign. And then to solve, we set each one equal to 0. So I have k plus 7 is equal to 0, and k minus 8 is equal to 0. And solve each one of those. So I subtract 7 from both sides, and k is going to be equal to negative 7. And this one, I'm adding 8 to both sides. So k is equal to a positive 8. Good luck factoring.